You want fun? Why, I'll show you fun.
I rarely deviate from my normal video format. It's a simple yet effective way to deliver the content I want to make. Sure, it does have its flaws, but overall I enjoy it. There are times where I'll need a break from the format, and do things in a way that isn't typical of my channel. A good example of this are my iceberg videos. Another example happens to be a very early video from me. It overall doesn't match the rest of my videos. It's very poor quality in all possible ways, yet somehow it's gotten some pretty wild attention. Truth be told, I never was quite very satisfied at all with that video. It got my point across, but it just wasn't of the quality I would have liked it to be. It was unscripted, it used my old laptop microphone, and it was made in like 20 minutes. I feel perhaps maybe I could do a little better. And there was a point where I decided maybe I should remake the video. Unfortunately, the audio from it was crackly and annoying, so I ended up making the second classic gaming creepypasta video instead. So, here I am. To do it all over again. But this time, perhaps a little better. I have a little more to say this time and a few new points to make, so now, why don't we talk about why I love every copy of Super Mario 64 is personalized? Or, for the sake of sparing my voice, every copy. Let's rewind 1 million years ago, when I was first birthed from an egg in this very void. My very first contact with a video game that mattered was when I got a Nintendo DS Lite and a copy of Pokemon Pearl for Christmas. As you can imagine, getting these things for Christmas as a kid was pretty meh. Yeah, I forgot to mention in the part where I never asked for video games. Yeah, I didn't understand the appeal of video games either. Because my brain as a child was comprised of toothpicks and glue, the tutorial level of a video game became this giant, unimaginable world of secrets. Even the smallest, most unimpressive games became this giant what if. What if this game did this, or was hiding this, or contained this? When you're a little kid, those games you play are as vast as your imagination will allow. You want to climb every mountain and cross every ocean, even if there is an invisible wall telling you no. You'd simply find a glitch that lets you bypass those invisible walls and keep going. Your friends at school would tell you about how they found this really cool secret cave in Pokemon, or how they unlocked your gym teacher in Smash Bros. There was no limit. Video games were an infinite source of entertainment without the ability to stop. I'm sure you were like me and just made shit up to tell people. I don't even know why I was doing it, or what I had to gain from doing it. My limitless imagination, combined with the fact that I still had dial-up, meant finding out secrets was all on me. I was the one who would unlock the secret penis level in Mario 5. The internet was a last resort due to how slowly web pages loaded. The only time I remember using it for this stuff was like figuring out how to defeat Baby Bowser in Yoshi's Island. It did not occur to me that I had to ground pound just like he was. The internet also occasionally provided a glimpse into what I was missing out on. All the games I didn't have. There was this cool one I used to watch a lot of videos about. I think it was called Super Mario 64. As I grew older, I started to lose that magic ability every child has. I started to become stale. Video games were less about playing a game and were more about just trying to scrounge up any actual entertainment. I became more critical of what I was playing and started to learn how video games worked. I started to learn most things about every game that they had in common, and soon the magic completely faded. Every time I played a new game, there's this temporary reignitement of this extinguished flame, and I start to question the limits of the game I'm playing, until inevitably, I learn too much. There is, however, something that keeps that flame from going out. Video game mysteries. A good video game mystery keeps players hunting and guessing for a while. You might find a weird asset in the game or an out-of-place object. Or maybe you trigger an event that you can't seem to trigger again. Maybe you share it with some other people online too, and oh my, we have a mystery. I love mysteries in video games a lot, because they keep me invested even after a game has been combed through to death. It's always fun to be given a new reason to come back to a game, and nothing quite does this like a good mystery. So, problem solved, right? Just have developers add more mysteries into their games. Well, there's a catch. Unfortunately, you see, not everyone is so on board with mysteries. Much to the dismay of many, we have an opponent we cannot defeat, that of which will always find a way to ruin the fun and waste all the hard work of a good developer in a matter of minutes. I'm sorry if the following word activates pain. Data miners. Adding mysteries to your game is like adding flowers to your garden. You'll get friendly bees and butterflies who want to enjoy the flowers and pollinate them. But you'll also get angry wasps that want to quickly feed upon the flowers, maybe attempt to pollinate, and then leave, stinging you multiple times in the process. While yes, we players wish to have our little hidden bits in video games, data miners actively dig them up straight from the game files and ruin the entire process of solving the mysteries. Typically the day the game is released. Though of course, that's if you're lucky. More often than not, especially if you're a Pokemon enjoyer much like myself, you'll have to crawl under a rock for a few weeks prior to the game releasing, because somehow, someone always gets their hands on the game early, and has already discovered the secret penis Pokemon at the end of the game via data mining. Nothing is allowed to be kept a secret for players to find themselves over time. No mysteries can form, though it's not all the fault of stinky data miners. It's a sad but true fact that the modern internet itself can be blamed. We're all connected, and so in a way, we're all one giant brain. One of us finds something and shares it with everyone else, and now everyone knows that something. If it were you and your lunch table gang back in school, you'd all be collaborating to find that penis level. But now the lunch table is comprised of millions of people, and so the penis level is found in almost no time at all. As upsetting as it is, it's also impressive. Mysteries are dying because there are more detectives on the case from day one. That doesn't mean there are no mysteries, obviously, it just means they're a bit more endangered than they once were. The penis level is never quite a secret anymore. With simply playing a game blind almost impossible due to leakers and secrets bleeding out of the game due to pickaxes of data miners piercing its hide, what even do I do? How can I reignite that flame? Will it just go out forever, or... The year is 2020. There's a sickness going around that keeps us anchored to our homes. I'm spending my days doing whatever the hell I do. In the months prior, I began to make some new, cool friends online. It's about June. Naturally, due to the nature of June, I am more powerful than usual. My homosexuality rainbow laser attack gains a 50% damage increase, and so all my problems appear to be easily defeated without a single issue. Then, something I'd rather not talk about happens that shatters my soul into tiny little shards. I'm staying up until 8 AM every night, shitposting violently with a good friend trying to drown out my agony. Then, something happens. My friend, who knows who they are, mentions something to me. This thing. Every copy of Super Mario 64 is personalized. I didn't understand what it meant. What do you mean? What on earth could such a statement even mean? Then I got sent down the iceberg rabbit hole. I watched Mishcaw's iceberg explanation video, then Sunflowers, hello Sunflower, I know you're watching, Gilbert be with you my friend. Then eventually, after the fact, Nessie Retro's videos. Shoutouts to Nessie Retro by the way. If he had never made those two deeper dive videos, or I had never watched them, Midnight Crick might have never become real. Actual inspiration right there. After sinking into the iceberg content, I felt something weird. What was this feeling? This was a spark. It was like magic almost. I felt my flame be reignited and stay ignited. This familiar feeling of interest and partial fear. This was amazing. This trend was everything I had ever wanted. I started reading from the Mips Hole wiki about everyone's own personalization lore. People were making things up, obviously, but it was all so much fun to read about when people took it seriously. There was content in the game that data miners couldn't easily dissect and explain, and thus no one could ruin this for me. At last, a bountiful supply of what I was looking for. Okay. Let's slow the hell down for a moment. What do I mean by personalization? What's an iceberg video? Was Gilbert really the one who invented Minecraft? Don't worry, I can answer these questions. The every copy phenomenon is easy to explain. The idea is that Mario 64 was given an extremely advanced AI that adds and removes content from the game based on the player. Ever notice how playing a friend's copy or the game on an emulator feels wrong? That's because it's not your copy of the game. The AI can do a wide variety of things to the game, ranging from simple level rearrangement to adding in completely new or scrapped content that wasn't there before. Why do you think your friends at school told you they unlocked Luigi? Because they did. The most infamous of all the things the AI could do is the dreaded Wario apparition, a giant floating Wario head that is extremely hazardous. If you even so much as suspect the game will provide you with this personalization, turn off the game and don't play again. If the Chain Chomp and Bob on Battlefield has white eyes, or is loose, you may be in for some heavy personalization. Now, an iceberg video is much easier to explain. It's explaining an iceberg image. An iceberg image is a chart that uses an iceberg as its basis. It's a play on the whole "just the tip of the iceberg" saying. The lower in the image an entry is, the more obscure it is. The idea of a video such as this is to explain the entries on the iceberg and give the viewer some cool information. The Mario 64 iceberg that started this still ongoing trend was the conspiracy iceberg, which was pretty much just pointing at the weird stuff and some theories, with our beloved personalization at the bottom of the image. Finally, did Gilbert invent Minecraft? Ask Sunflower, because I don't speak Lavender Town. Now, what did this whole trend do to me? How did it impact me? Well, to say the least, it made me more into adding secrets into video games. Hell, I even added a form of personalization to one of my own games, not too unlike the fun value from Undertale. I also began to crave iceberg videos. The general energy a lot of them gave off was exactly what I was looking for. Unfortunately, like most things on the internet, eventually, what once was begins to be bastardized. Newer iceberg videos tend to ditch the atmosphere in favor of just shooting facts into your veins. It's barely even about the iceberg itself now, with many videos only briefly showing the image itself at the start, or not really mentioning when a layer ends or begins. The alternate universe Pokemon iceberg video I made a while back was clearly the product of every copy, though we'll get into that later. No, I got this. I'll make Nesty Retro proud.
More on that later.
It's hard to say this channel would even exist had every copy not happened. Every copy not only ignited my flame, but it also inspired me, scared me, gave me a serious YouTube channel, and maybe even kissed me a few times. So here we are, almost 2 years after the events described above. What changed? Unfortunately, every copy has become a complete joke. Now the only way you'll hear people talk about it is as a creepy, bleedy eyes Mario farting into your mouth at 3 AM type deal. It's a joke, a meme, and a dead meme at that. And we all know what happens if your attention span isn't as small as the rest of the internet's. God help you if you even dare still enjoy a meme after it's not popular anymore.
You monster!
I almost feel ashamed to still want more. Thankfully, something came out of nowhere to kick me in the balls in a way I can enjoy. B3313. B3313 It's a Super Mario 64 ROM hack developed by the gods and kissed by Jesus himself. It's been described as Super Yume Nikki 64, and I agree with this a lot. The game is essentially a labyrinth of familiar places, new places, and beta places, and all of this with a sinister presence around every corner. There are more stars than in the original game, and secrets absolutely everywhere. I've personally described it as what video games used to feel like as a kid. I played it for a few hours and was blown away by how much fun it is. It also features new remixes of other songs, which I've been playing in the background of the video this entire time. Some of the notable locations in the mod include Wet Dry World Before the Flood, the Castle Sewer System, Bowser in the Eternal Fort, and this beautifully uncanny fake lobby area with weird lighting. B3313's sudden appearance and almost impossible to fully document secrets were exactly what I was always hoping for. The game is fun, interesting, creepy, and full of more content than one can likely handle. It's full of references to every copy too. And the iceberg. Some references include Bowser in the Eternal Fort, Cold Cold Crevice, Bob-omb Village, and Delicious Cake. It's an amazing experience that I couldn't recommend enough. Now, as I mentioned before, every copy had a hand in making the alternate universe Pokemon Iceberg video. It came from a place of wanting more. Iceberg videos stopped being special once people started pumping out 10-minute videos explaining the most basic information ever about a topic while abandoning the atmosphere that made said video so fun. I went out of my way to fix this by hand, crafting my own iceberg image and coming up with entries. I eventually crafted a story, one which relates to my desires and the extremes relating to them. I won't spoil the video for anyone who hasn't watched it. I aim to capture what was once a new concept. The iceberg video before it became what it is now. I will always try to put that part of my desires into my own content. Big videos full of specific music choices to match an atmosphere I so badly crave from others. I'll even admit, I accidentally absorbed Nessie Retro's tone when saying an entry's name. Like, I don't say Weird Door Phenomenon, I say Weird Door Phenomenon. Of course, let's not forget the most important thing we can talk about 2 years later. My conclusion. Wink wink. Every copy is a special thing I hold close to my heart. It scared and inspired me like nothing else has. I wish to see more things like it, even if it was only a meme for some. I know I'm not alone. I know others feel the same way. Video game mysteries aren't dead, but certainly aren't being nursed back to health. Every copy provided something I couldn't quite seem to get anymore. And it's why I'm making a video about a 2-year-old meme. Even after said 2 years, Mario 64 mysteries are still on my mind. I don't consider every copy dead, because I still care about it. To me, every copy of Super Mario 64 is still personalized, and I will never stop feeling that way. I hope you can feel that way too.